Jake Peffer here. Welcome back to Jake's Cinema Room. I'm back with another movie review for you guys, and today I'm going to be talking about the latest horror movie from Blumhouse Pictures, Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, this is based on the popular video game series, which I unfortunately have not had the opportunity to play, but I know it has a huge fan base out there, and the trailers for this movie really made me want to seek out the games. The trailers got me super hyped for this. I'm a big horror fan, and everything about the trailer really made this one of my highly anticipated movies to come out this year. Looked like it had a great cast, looked like it had a nice concept. So in the end, the question is, does it stack up as one of the best video game movies of all time? Or is it actually one of the bigger disappointments of the year? In the movie itself, we follow Josh Hutcherson's character. He's a down on his luck security guard. He recently lost his job as a security guard at the mall. Now he has to figure things out because he takes care of his younger sister. Their aunt is threatening to fight him over custody of his sister. So he knows he's got to find something quick to show not only can he be employed, but also make money to take care of said sister. He hooks up with an employment company and gets introduced to a character played by Matthew Lillard. He tells him of a position that he can give him. It's terrible pay. It's terrible hours. Basically, everything about the job is terrible. But Hutcherson knows that this is basically the only opportunity that he has. So he knows he might as well take it. That way he can show that he can get employed somewhere and support his sister and take care of her. The job is at a rundown, closed, essentially Chuck E. Cheese type place called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. It's a fun place where you can eat pizza, play video games, and it has animatronic characters that are in a band and do all kinds of crazy stuff. While there, we learn to find out that these animatronics actually can come to life. And from there, we watch as chaos ensues, and we get a somewhat entertaining horror movie. Now, I posed the question before, is this one of the better video game movies, to ever be made, or is this one of the biggest disappointments of the year? And unfortunately, I have to lean toward the latter. For me, this was a very highly anticipated movie on my list of stuff to see this year, and it didn't do as much for me as I had hoped. It's not to say it's all bad. There are some entertaining elements to it. I think most of the cast here is good, and there's some things to like about it. But overall, I just felt like the movie couldn't do enough. It felt a little, sloppily put together. Might have been something in the direction there, or maybe in the writing. The overall concept is cool, but it feels like the movie never really reaches its full potential because it sets forth a lot, and there's some extra stuff in there that I feel is pretty unnecessary. And if you would have maybe taken some of that out, it would have maybe let the movie breathe a little better and could focus more on mostly Josh Hutcherson's character, which it does, but him at the pizzeria place is kind of your overall crux of the movie, and that's where the more entertaining parts of the movie come forth. It's all the stuff outside of there that involves him taking care of his younger sister, the crazy aunt that keeps coming in, and all the while he keeps having these dreams that I'm not going to get into too many spoilers, but show something that happened in his past, and he's using that along with things that are taking place in the present day, and all that stuff just feels completely unnecessary. Had they taken out all that dream stuff and all that extra subplots that they try to build off of him, I think the movie would have worked a lot better. I know they're doing it for character development and try to make you more sympathetic with his character and everything like that. But to me, those are the parts of the movie that really didn't work. The fun of this movie and the entertaining parts are him watching over this place and then seeing these animatronic characters come to life. I think all the effects work and everything looks really nice. I don't know how much of these animatronics are actual puppets or how much of it's CG, but I think for the most part they actually look pretty cool. And from what I've seen of the pictures, they seem to resemble the characters from the video game pretty well. I do think the cast here works well. Josh Hutcherson, he hasn't been in much recently, but he's been in a ton of, relatively big movies, The Hunger Games and whatnot. But here I think he does do a really good job in the lead. It's pretty much him for the majority of the movie. You know, you do have other characters that pop in and out, but everybody else is definitely a much smaller part of the movie. With him taking over the lead role, I think he does enough to, you know, make you sympathetic with his character, and he puts forth a good performance and everything. Everybody else in the cast, for the most part, does a good job. It's always great to see Matthew Lillard. Unfortunately, he's not in this movie for very long, but the scenes that he gets, he's definitely creepy, and you know, he's definitely got a cool vibe going on, and I think he does a good job as well. The other downside of the movie is it's very predictable. I mean, from 10 to 15 minutes into it, it's pretty easy to kind of tell what's going to be the end game here. And that kind of sucks because, you know, they set it up to where the ending part, oh, it's a big twist. But, I mean, if you can't figure out what the big twist is within the first 15 minutes, maybe you shouldn't be watching movies because it's not subtle in the way that they set it up. And it's one of those things, you know, like I don't mind when movies are cliche or, you know, do something that's not necessarily new. But this is just something that is so predictable in the way that it's written. It's like, how would you not be able to figure it out? And that, to me, that kind of takes away some of the fun of it. Another aspect of the movie that is a little lame, I believe this is PG-13 if I'm not mistaken, but the kills in the movie are a little underwhelming. Not that that's necessarily a make or break thing in a movie, but in horror movies, especially ones like this where you have people getting killed off, one of the better aspects is, how creative are the kills, how cool are the kills, how gory or gruesome are they? And in this one, they're kind of just whatever, There's one that is very over the top, but you only see it through a silhouette of the characters. And it's one that I don't even think is technically possible. So very weird how that, shaped out. But like I said, there's enough here that's somewhat entertaining. But for me and what I, was expecting, and, I know sometimes you shouldn't set your expectations too high. But unfortunately for me, I did with this movie. And it just didn't do enough for me to really like it that much. There are parts I like. There's elements I like. Josh Hutcherson and Matthew Lillard I like. But I feel like it left too much to be desired. And unfortunately, it's not enough for me to really recommend it overall. I will say if you're a fan of the video game, you're more than likely going to have a good time with this. And it's one in time. I think maybe if I see it another time or two throughout the years, I think it'll maybe grow on me a little bit more. But as it stands right now, it's not one of the best movies of the year. It's not one of the best video game movies of the year. And unfortunately, it is a bit of a disappointment in my eyes. Overall, I would give Five Nights at Freddy's a 5 out of 10. It's an average horror movie. It does enough to somewhat entertain, but unfortunately, it's a little too all over the place. And there's some unnecessary things throughout the movie that I feel could have been taken out to improve things. And overall, it just leaves a lot of potential left on the floor. But yeah, that's about it for me, guys. If you get a chance to see Five Nights at Freddy's, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more reviews, and I'll leave all my links down below on where you can check out more of my reviews and follow me on social media. Until next time, I will catch you all later.